Dog trying to eat me up. Her dog come out and
love is life. Oh, yes, love is life. And we finna talk on love. What is love? Love is divine. Allah is love. This is the grand word. Mm-hmm. Y'all ain't seen no love like Allah. Y'all thought Democratic and Republican and your government had love. But wait till you get some of Allah's love. It's nothing but filled with self-knowledge.
Somebody depending on the Democratic Party.
Uh-oh. 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 Hey, peace to all. Peace to all. Hey, love and peace. Love and peace is on the scene. Hate done had its run. It took a course. I mean, it took a whole Piscean age.
Beautiful.
A whole over 2,000. That's 2 millenniums, y'all.
Too long.
2 millenniums, y'all. Hate been taking its course.
Ooh, man.
And so, yes, we cannot have that, y'all. Not the people now. Not the people now. We know the people know that machines don't love.
That's right. And
only people do.
And they break down. Mine broke down with me. But I had the will to live and the will to make it back to y'all.
Hey, that's why we must return back to the holy instructions, because he said, I gave you the breath of life.
Woo.
And I breathed the breath into your car or your car. I blew the bar in your car.
Woo.
Come on now. We talking about the human vessel you driving with.
Yes, indeed.
The Creator say, I blew the breath of my knowledge, and I blew that breath into you for your knowledge. Woo, woo. Y'all, we need to take a time and sit back and really understand these names and nouns.
That's right.
You know, we was covered.
Mention person, place, or thing.
That's right. Yes. So peace and prosperity to all attendees. Yes, who come to know thyself clearly and to strive for purity in love. Now, we got to understand, we've been under a grand illusion.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, from literature to science fiction.
Yes, indeed.
We don't know right now what is real.
We don't.
Is Donald Trump real or Kamala Harris real?
That's right. Right on.
Who gonna fix your problem?
Yes, indeed.
Your problem is real.
Uh-huh.
Now, if someone else has you known your whole life, has somebody else been helping you tend to your problem? Now, this is self-retrospective. Has anybody came to you as you yourself and helped you daily fix your problem?
Look at that. Think on that. Think on that.
And this is our divine agenda. This is why we must know Muhammad's Allah. We got to understand. Because Allah is in man. And we've been cut off from something great, y'all. They limited us by using substitutions. You know, like sports, when they sub a player in.
Yeah.
And that player ain't good as the star player. So Allah's our star, our MVP of all time. They substituted him, y'all.
Look here.
And gave us a subpar, mediocre. Something poor and impoverished. Wanting and need. Don't know itself. But know everything that's not itself. We call that everything else. So this is why we got to wake up out of our illusion. Sometimes we got to be the ones awake to shake the ones who sleep to awakeness. That's right. We need wakefulness at this time. This is a glorious time. It don't matter if you rich, poor, scholar, non-scholar. You have life. And who gave you life is the same creator who gave life to the scholar, to the non-scholar, to the rich, and to the poor.
Beautiful.
So we talking about the creator of the sun, the moon, and the truth. And we know truth ain't no illusion. But we gonna have to dig in. We gonna have to find out, because I had to find out.
Beautiful.
I was under illusion.
Right on.
And if we don't dispel our own ignorance, just like who's gonna help us with our own problem?
Yes, indeed.
We got to dispel our own problems.
And I just want to say that, remember what it said, that for whosoever will, let him come. And see, you might be thinking that the preacher can fix it because he know a little something, not much. And now you thinking he know the way. And now you begin to trust in him or anybody else, scholar or non-scholar. But we got to realize that there's a greater cause, there's a greater power. And remember this, you might think he can do it, but then you find out he can't. Then you say, well, I'm going to look somewhere else. When it's you all alone who need to fix it and straighten it out, but you keep looking outside. When it's you alone, you got to study, you the one got to fix it. And I'm just coming on what you just said, then who's going to do it?
That's the question that we got to answer.
What if you waited on everybody?
That's right.
Will we be where we at today? No. It was you. You decided.
That's right. That's why we got to decide with our government who is the true and living government.
That's right.
Is it the living creator and his instructions? And everybody is under and subject to these divine instructions?
Yeah.
Or is it a swing of a pendulum to man's thought of his day?
Yeah.
Is he feeling good today? Yeah. And he not feeling good today, so he might push a law that benefits his thoughts.
Yeah, that's right. Right on. That's what they do.
Benefits his company. But not all. We ain't talking about the few. We ain't talking about just the cabinet of the Congress.
Yeah. We
ain't talking just the Senate and the House of Representatives.
Right on.
We talking about the people on all lands, on all 7 foots of the country.
Yes, indeed.
Who barefoot and bare naked. We talking about those living souls. Those who need this knowledge that we possess.
Right on.
And that we don't need any mixture of lies. Because we've been filled with them already.
Started out on.
And this is what we call Ilulu land. We got to get out of illusion. The system that we was under and bred under to whatever age you is, that's how long the illusion been cooking in your experience. So your age is to determine how long you've been under the illusion, because you should know when your age, when you determine to break out of the illusion. And you should have been trotting on your journey ever since. If you don't know the day you started, you ain't began yet. Because we talking about being born again.
Well,
from this inside out.
That's what we talking about.
From the inside out.
Yeah. People ain't never really thought about that stuff, the inside. They're too busy looking in the mirror. And they like what they see in the mirror.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna hush right there. Go ahead.
When we look at the mirror, we don't see the inside.
No.
That's something really to think about. So we're going to get ready to open up our divine meeting. In the name of our divine creator, Al-Sufian. We're going to be opening up our instruction on page 95 at the top. Illusion, right under illusion. I finished off last week, our last session.
Yeah, because you were reading when we stopped right there.
So I'll pass the baton.
Okay, well, I'll take it. You know, I've been thinking about the word illusion for quite some time now. And just like this morning and last night when I laid down, I was thinking about illusion. And I thought about illustration. And I was thinking, they're so close because it's just like, when you illustrate, it's just like to paint a picture. And then when you look at creation, it's to just show you what he can manifest when he don't even have to manifest. So when you think about that and then using imagination along with it, you know, you can travel many places.
Many places.
I just want to say that. We've been able to read that. Allah knows the infinite and limitless qualities he possesses. Al-Alim, he knows his infinite qualities, will to manifest and observe these qualities with the quality of his name, El-Murid, and creates them with the power denoted by his name, El-Qadir, and observe them through countless forms of words, manifestation in parentheses, with his name, El-Kalim. Power is the ability to observe the inherent, implicit meaning, to encompass with knowledge all of one's intrinsic qualities. If the seven oceans and the light were empty, it will still not suffice to write the words of Allah. Now that's big and powerful. Can you imagine all the water in the oceans and all seven? And if it was ink and you were going to use the water for the ink to write the name or express the name of Allah or the depths of Allah, you run out of ink. Now, I don't have to be a rocket scientist, but I know what I need to do now. When you read something like that and hear that, My.
That's infinity. Infinity. And this is what we've been stuck from. They want to give us wages and then call it minimum.
Yeah, it ain't
look, we got infinite.
Yeah. In the earth, in the riches is abundantly. Ain't nobody got no business being poor. It's plenty. But the crook, go ahead.
That's the point, that the crook substituted Allah and gave you his God. The crook's God. See, in the crook's God, he limited. He always left side or the right side. Left wing or the right wing.
Yeah, that's what
he never balanced.
Yeah. That's what you hear now all the time.
Right.
Left wing, right wing.
Right.
That's the most crooked politician.
Right. And see, they've been playing on this self-knowledge, which is the knowledge of both. And now with Allah being infinite, we have an infinite ways that we can be accepted.
Yeah.
But if we don't choose to accept it, like we choose to accept these low-paying jobs that take up all your time and don't give you no knowledge in your head, you still walking around.
And you love them so the most low-paying job that you'll get you two of them.
There you go. We done seen many people. And any one of us could be one of these people that had to get another job due to the circumstance. Now, infinity is different than what we have experienced as a job.
That's right.
They used to say just over broke.
City group, primary. That's what we used to teach. That's what the job fair stands for. Just over broke.
That's what they say. And then we have to ask, if I had a job, do I consistently have money without going to the job? See, this is how they stripped us. Because now you don't have if you don't go.
That's right.
Well, Allah says you don't have to go, and you still have.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Right. One telling you got to do this to survive. One telling you that you don't got to do nothing to survive.
That's right.
You can just praise on my name. You can just breathe the breath I gave you. Because how you live is through breathing.
That's right.
Not through any other source.
That's right.
Your life is through the breath. And we've been confused that we breathe in money or something. That money can pay for oxygen. Ask the people that's in hospital beds. Needing oxygen in their nose. Got money in their bank account. But need oxygen in their nose.
Your money no good now.
If the oxygen low, your health is low. See, we have to understand the beauty of what the Creator has gave us, called the breath of life, is 101% healthy, perfect purity. And that if we have a high level of just breathing, you will have a high level of health, y'all. Health is just easy as breathing. A lot of say we had to go be a neurosurgeon, a scientist, an atomistic particleist, a quantum coffee maker. We don't have to go do none of these things to be able to breathe. Breathing is the most simplest form of living that we was provided for, that we don't even have to think to breathe. We can breathe and be thinking about something else. This is how powerful we are. Do we know breathing and thinking is two opposite directions?
That's right.
And you're going to trade your thinking. You're going to shut your thinking down for a time period of 8 to 5, 9 to 5. Shut it down.
You're going to shut it down and sit on it.
This is just things we got to think. This is the illusion that's been played on us.
Yeah, man.
And if we feel this inside our being, like as emotions rushing through the course of your being, this is why we losing focus of the breath.
Yeah.
Just breathe.
We don't even take it serious.
Deep, quiet, silent breath.
Yeah.
And we return back to the instruction with great elder.
And if you notice when you breathe, you notice how quiet it is. It ain't like the engine when you crank it up. Hit the gas. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Hey, that's it right there.
Even if you take a deep breath, it's still smooth.
It's still smooth.
And quiet. It's still. Let's keep reading.
All praises due to Allah.
And it says they can't write the words of Allah. And it asks you a question, how could it? Just think about how big that is. The 7 oceans. It ain't enough water if it was ink to write the name of Allah. Think on that internet land. Because sometimes we move too fast. I want you to think along with me as I read. Get your mind out the jailhouse.
Please. Because that's what he wanted.
Don't put yourself in prison. It went on to say, what are the 7 oceans? 7 galaxies. 77 universes. Most folks don't know nothing about Alabama and Georgia and Florida University. They think that's it. But these 77 ain't talking about dumb boys. I want to be clear. Because see, there's a greater universe. You stuck at the below. The one on earth. And you think you got it on going on because you done been there and got your bachelor degree on the wall and your master from the universities, and now you can't be touched with a 10-foot pole. Because now you think you got it going on. And can't nobody tell you nothing. He said, what is this comparison to infinite? Ain't the same motion, you need more. Infinite is greater than the same motion, y'all. All the 7 galaxies. It goes on to say, anything that can be represented by figures, no matter how large it may be, is nothing compared to infinite. Infinity. Nothing.
Infinity ain't nothing compared to
infinity. Ain't nothing compared to that. And you know what, son? Can I pause here for a moment? Because this what, when I came across that word, everlasting. Everlasting. That means it lasts forever. I started saying to myself, man, this is the road I want to take.
That's how it
This is the way I want to go. Now, this way I'm thinking now, y'all, is where I got to where I'm at today. See, certain words just get my attention.
Bring it home.
And then the word eternity. And when I looked around and seen everything for just a little while, I said, oh, my. I mean, if you went and brought her home, it's for 30 years. You went and brought a car, it's for 70 years, or 5 or 7. You're limited. Your years limited. And that's what you want. Or you want eternity and infinity. Let us go on. Allah is as Sama. He is aware of every single word in parentheses, meaning, and he knows every meaning of every word. He observed in and of himself. Is it at all possible for him not to be aware when he is observing the meaning pertaining to his very self? Self. I remember that song that I used to like by the, I don't forgot the group of it, but it was called Express Yourself. Allah is all Basar. He is the perceiver and the evaluator. How can he not be? It is her, himself, who is perceiving and who is being perceived. But where is this taking place? In Allah knowledge.
That's the key.
Remember what I just read? It said, you know the meaning of every word. Do you know that? Meaning of every word, or you yet have learned?
They're saying these wisdoms and knowledges is so important because everybody else got their knowledge. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
From the athlete
to
the computer man. Yeah. But when we talking what is Allah's knowledge, see, this is where self in Western America have been castrated from. We have been circumcised from Allah's knowledge. The knowledge we have is not sufficient. When we have the right knowledge, which is Allah's knowledge, this is when we have self-knowledge. Now, this is the secret. That's why it's been closed by people who hold up dynasty signs and pyramid with their hands. They're not expressing to you that they know what you don't know.
Right on.
See, and they trying to tell you that it's something you need to know.
Yeah.
You got to read in between the lines. And that's the knowledge of self. This is the hidden, it's like the hidden philosophy of all philosophies, the hidden science of all sciences, the hidden divinity of anything divine and ecclesiastical. When we talking about any form of authority, any form of authority, we are talking about self-knowledge. And we in the West of North America have been, again, castrated from Allah's knowledge. We don't know about Allah. We have been taken away and said, don't know about that stuff. All you need to know is this book called the Good Book. And this book does it all.
Yeah.
And now we seeing that it's benefiting some, but not benefiting all.
Oh, yes, indeed. Come on with it.
See, if we want to benefit all, we got to change our name. The name has to include all.
Right on.
So if your God is not all, then it's limited to a few and a company. But when your creator is all, now this gives credence and coverage to all. All got assurance now with Allah. When we talking about truth, when we talking about guarantee, these are the instructions of everlasting life. Like, let's say, did your God give you the name of everlasting life? Because my God did.
Yes, indeed.
And my God is the name in the name of Allah in English. And so we have the divine answer to that. See, and this is why it's very important, because growing up in a foundation of spiritual understanding, teachers was there. Now, when we come into understanding the teachers, but the name that was given of the practices wasn't the name of the divine creator. For instance, people like myself who understand what the word voodoo is. When you have to do your voodoo, that is a common phrase amongst Islamic community. When we come to find out that word voodoo is not the name of the creator. And so when I found that out, I had to find out then who gave us this word voodoo. And that's when I traced it back to the Persian version. And these are the people who have renamed all of the qualities of the creator and even dumbed it down to 99 and then throw that in another book. And so the same thing that was done to the Christian text is the same thing done to the Muslim text. And so the language you speaking is not from the creator. It is from men who want to rule over you. And when you speak certain words that they, the ruler, provided, it now returns back to sender. Principal goes to agent, agent returns back to principal. That's how it always goes. The deputy worked for the sheriff.
Come on with it.
So when we talking about these words supposed to work for the creator, the reason why we ain't aligning is because the words of the vibrations and the frequencies is off. So now let's cut it back short. We got to get back to the text for time purposes. But the divine word of voodoo is the word Ba-Ki. The word Ba-Ki is the proper name of the name of the practice voodoo. And Ba-Ki is the name of the creator as the 59th name. And as the 59th name, it means the everlasting.
Look at that.
This is why I'm bringing it to the, because we was mentioning everlasting. This is a vibration we want to be vibrating, resonating.
Right. And that's what got my attention, see?
And see, that word is Ba-Ki.
Look at that.
Ba-Ki. Allah Ba-Kiya in rhythm. Yes, this is the divine. This is what it means to have the Sufa. It means the infinite. It also don't mean just everlasting. It means the infinite.
That's right.
And it also means the immutable, non-changing, permanent.
Beautiful.
So that means now that when you hear the words, and when I say Allah Baka, that is a sacred meaning. that means in our heart the everlasting spirit of Allah. And this is what we have to know, that our ancestor from Moorish ancestry have always, this praise to Allah had always been immutable, everlasting, and unchanging from our Moorish ancestry all the way to us today. The people who came over here claiming themselves to be Europeans understand our Moorish ancestry. Our Moorish ancestry is not from Africa. This is the origin when we speaking. Allah didn't come out of Africa. I've traced this back myself.
Beautiful.
The Bible came out of Africa.
Oh.
Allah came out of Europe. Did y'all know that? The first place Allah was born is the same place where the people were. And the people of Europe was called Maraba. And the people of Maraba was considered Marab. And when invaders came, they came with the name Arab. You know, just like they change your name today or change the phonetics of your name when they say your name today. And Maraba means the ancient name of Europe. And see, we didn't know that. And see, so the people that came over here from Europe knows the ancient name of Europe is Maraba. Is Arabia. Allah was born in, we would say today, Europe. This is why we have to have understanding of what we are talking about. Because when it's coming from the Middle East, that's Persian version. So we have been duped by texts that have been formulated from North Africa and Middle East. This is where the corruption started, and this is where corruption ended. And they brought that mess over here to the West from the East. There was nothing but pure wisdom and Allah's knowledge in the East, Far East, Moorish East. And then the invaders hated the divine because the Moors gave it to all the people. And now when the people receive, they don't understand what they receive. You are receiving a divine creed that will annihilate, that will remove any false impostor on the land, in the office, in a seat of power or authority. But guess what? They taught you with that substitution, God, fear. So now you scared. You afraid of Allah. Because the God that you serve now told you to fear him. And so now you shaking in your boots. Is it God or is it Allah? Is it God or is it Allah? See, and you didn't even know from the beginning because you didn't trace the history back. God is an Arabic word. So it's no God or is it Allah? Both of them is an Arabic word. We've been told God is God, but God is G-R. See how the phonetics change? We know what G-R is, but we didn't know what God is, and that's the same word, just phonetically said different. So when I say the Arabic word, that God is an Arabic word, the word is Jihad, G-R. And then when you hear me say it in English, like the letter G and then R, God. So we have to come to the terms of everything we're dealing with, especially if we're going to accept it in our mind. That's me, myself. I've got to know what I'm talking about if I'm accepting in my mind. These the things of why my ancestry traced back to European ancestry. And I'm not talking Caucasian. I'm talking the pure white man, the Moorish Maraba Sufiana. Those who know understand. But those who don't, you will come to understand. This is why we have to understand where this begins. Allah begins with the Maraba, where you get the word rabbi. So rabbi is where we understand where all this comes from. And they gave you some catch-all catch term called M-O-O-R, more. And you are getting stripped from the knowledge of Moorish science. You are the correct name. More is M-O-O-R, is short for Moraba. See, and this is just truth of heritage and science and mathematics for all Moorish adepts at that moment. So we have to get from Noble Drew Ali teachings to the understanding of the adept chamber, the third heaven. And this is where all praises due to Allah I have received. And this is what all shall receive. It's on your 10 toes if you're going to get up and go. Yep. It's on your 10 hands if you're going to grab it and click on it and touch it and bring it to life. All we can do is now bring the message. And once the message is brought, this is not no warning. All the warnings have already came. This is the divine truth that was promised to you from olden times. And if you don't know the sound of the voice, then you don't know the scriptures. We had to travel a long journey to get to your heart. Your heart was filled with barriers by societal means. They don't want you to have this beautiful beautitude. They don't want you to walk around with this dignity of self-respect. They don't want you to know that you come from those who created the first righteous religion to save all humanity. We talking about saving power here. If what you talking and what you ain't reading, it don't give you saving power, throw it away. You're wasting time. It's a trash can near you. I know. Your mind, let me say that your mind is not a trash can. Do not throw trash in your mind. You throw trash in the trash can. You throw greatness in your mind. You throw Allah's knowledge in your mind. You don't throw thoughts, weak thoughts, lesser spiritual thoughts. We got to know the identity of self and how do we come to reconcile with what the Romanism has declared on each black person, that you live in your ego. And your ego is Allah himself. And they have shut you down, put signs and sigils all around you, telling you can't celebrate, you can't do this, you don't got free speech. They limiting you for the choices that you will waive. You wavering the divine rights to receive governmental privileges that has no affiliation with divine inheritance. Meaning it's not everlasting, y'all. Meaning they're going to take it away at some point. When your job is finished for them, when you do a good job and they pat you on the head, they're going to take it back. at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Not because you didn't earn it. You got the pat on the head. Good boy. We call it the good nigga sticker.
Yeah. That's what that is.
Good nigga sticker. Here you go. Here go the sticker.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what we have to understand is that, did you reach eternity? Did you attain? This is something we all have to attain. And the only way you can attain it is through love. Not through a big bank account. With $1, you can go through heaven. With no money, you can go to heaven. With $1 million, $1 billion, $1 trillion, you can go to heaven. If you know what a millions and $1 trillion represent. See, let me help the people who is aspiring for large amounts of money. If you are aspiring for a large amount of money to become a billionaire, trillionaire, quadrillionaire, listen very closely. The more money you have and the more money you attain, make sure your purity match. The bigger your bank account, the more your purity matches your bank account. If you don't match, if your purity don't match that $1 billion, then you're gonna find darkness at the end, not the light at the end of the tunnel. So we're gonna pause for the calls and get back to the peace and wisdom and the great elder. Let's get back to it.
Gonna fall short, son. Just hear it and listen. I hope they listening to you, because you better store up as much purity as you got money. That's some good advice. And sound advice. Good words, good advice. Thought, though words are important from adequately expressing the reality, we have no choice but to implore them. And though insufficient, it can be stated that everything that transpires takes place in the knowledge and imagination of the one denoted by the name Allah. Now, we come to the second pivotal point. If the above is true, then who am I? Big old capital I with a question mark. Who is me? Another question mark. What is the world? What is the afterlife? What are heaven and hell? What do concepts such as judgment, book, and torment forbid? Who is making the proposal? To whom is it being proposed? What is the proposal? Question. So Hayadin Ibn al-Arabi said, the serpent is the reality. The raw is the reality. If only I knew who it is that is liable if I say the servant, he is dead. If I say the rabbi, be loud. Pertaining to the same topic, Imam Ghazali, an invaluable Islamic scholar and saint, Wali, who lived much earlier than Ibn al-Rabi, said, the enlightened one will elevate from the pit of the metaphor to the pinnacle of reality, completing their ascension. They will observe with clarity that there is nothing in existence other than Allah. This source is Allah the Ahad. He has no partners. All others illumination, nur, or mirror representations. The only real illumination is nur, the light of knowledge. That is the source and essence of everything. Even when we stop a moment and think about when we go to school, what we're learning now. We're going in to learn stuff, so we know a little about this and a little bit about that. What if you get the right knowledge? There's a lot of knowledge out there, but it might not be the right knowledge. It could be the wrong knowledge. For instance, they said that Columbus discovered America, and that was knowledge there. Wrong knowledge, because he ain't discovered nothing. But somebody lied and documented for the absolute truth. And that's why I have no faith in this government, because anybody will lie on something like that in creation or discovery. If he tells you one big lie, you know nothing. That's the way I look at anybody who's talking in their action. Everything is derived from his nerve. In fact, everything is him. The truth is, existence is him. And one question asked in the book of Malachi, well, not Malachi, but it's no, in some of these books they say, has man seen God? They say no. The engendered existence is only a metaphor, a representation, the phrase. There is no her other than her is the non-dual reality of the chosen one. It leads them to unity, to oneness.
One love.
Yeah. And when you stop and think about all the people, when they're thinking about Allah, we become the oneness. There's many, but everybody's got this one focus, the oneness. It should make sense to you. But I don't know. Some people slow lines. The last station ascensions is the realm of soulness. But there are no more ladders to climb at this station. Elevation can only make sense in the land of multiplicity. When multiplicity becomes obsolete, unity becomes reality. Relativity diminishes, signs and symbols become irrelevant. At this point, there are no high or low, and no who rise or fall. Progression becomes invalid, accession becomes void. There is no access beyond accession. And when I think about how our people done let somebody conquer their mind and got them thinking now that they got to turn to some Republican party or some Democratic party or some government for protection and for the source. Allah is the source. We turn from Allah to another source. I guess that's why they done made beggars out of all them who turn to this system.
When you don't know who you are, that's what the people, as us as the black people of America, suffering from self-identity crisis.
Yeah.
We can identify that we need money, but we can't identify with heritage. That is a large problem.
Mm-hmm.
That is a large problem, that a large percentage of people do not know their heritage beyond a Roman telling them what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Have a Caucasian ever told you was a Moor?
Look at that. No, we haven't.
Have a Caucasian ever told you was black?
That and a nigga.
So why he telling you those words?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, words have to be employed.
That's right.
Why he employing those words when you find out that he can employ these words because you found it just as he know it.
That's right.
Remember, that's why we have to understand history. I'm not a person just sitting here talking. I've spent 18 years with studying over history, scholarship, metaphysics, epistemology, ontology, everything that you will come with a PhD, postgraduate competent level to understand. Romanism is not what you think it is, as a superior knowledge system that affords you everlasting life.
That's right.
We must understand, put our whatever behind us and begin to really accept who you are and that you came into existence only one way. So we must understand the source of to have parents. This is like, we have to understand. If you don't understand this stuff, what you're reading is not for play. You are to develop a higher self here. If you're not every day waking up passionately building your higher self. Remember, your lower self is built. You done built by graduating school. You are graduated from the lower self. Now the higher self is on you to build. They didn't never tell you that one. This is the key here. Your everlasting life is linked to your higher self. If you spend no time building your higher self, using the tool of knowledge, and you would know when you got your higher self, because you will be wise.
There you go.
Wisdom built your artifact, and knowledge knows what it built it with. So when we are talking about El Bays and Days and Ali's, we are talking about elevation.
Right on. Right on.
We are talking about elevation to everlasting life, from a flesh to flesh divine. And this is very sigmatic because we need to understand that Romans have brought the multiplicity of religion by invading lands and conquering lands. They have added all the religions as they conquered them. So now this is why we have to understand how Rome came to. Rome is not powerful at all. It's not even more powerful. Rome is no more powerful than your pinky toe. How often you use your pinky toe? You use your thumb, big toe. That's your big self, your higher self. You got to understand, when you don't know, you can be abused.
That's right.
When you know yourself, you cannot be abused. Now, what is that saying? Remember, in Moorish science, the higher self is the human spirit clothed with soul. So when you're reading about the last station, this is the last station of your spiritual growth. If you have not metaphysically achieved the higher arts of surpassing the metaphysics into living a higher reality known as the Spirit of God, this is what is called God, community.
Yeah.
The difference between Allah, God, and anything real for itself, it don't matter darkness of light. Our Moorish ancestry left us a map to learn knowledge of self. Call it African, call it God, Allah, and the devil. These things you must coincide as parts of your makeup, not externally chasing you like a dream or a nightmare. We have to understand, as a Moorish science called Al-Sufian. This is the light of the nerve. The nerve, the light of knowledge, is called Al-Sufian. This is what the world has been missing, myself included. I wouldn't care if you worship the Creator. Everybody has worshiped the Creator wrong. If you have not searched for your Creator to find out what's right by sitting and reading the Word, the only defense a self has down here is the Word. I don't know what y'all understand to not be your only defense system.
That's right.
You wake up speaking words.
That's right.
So if you don't understand, words do connect to a reality. And you are using words that I am black. That word is connecting you to a reality.
Yeah.
Now, your ancestors didn't create that reality, and your ancestors is not God. Y'all do know that, right? You can follow your ancestors, but your ancestors not God.
That's right.
They not your God.
That's right.
So when you are going back to the source, you are leaving everything that was not of the truth. So anything that did not fall into oneness of understanding the divine mind, which is the oneness of Allah. Allah is the divine mind called you, the divine self. This is the hardest thing to comprehend, and it took me a long time. I'll tell you what's the hardest thing to do, because you got to pass these tests, and you can't pass these tests insufficient of knowledge.
That's right.
And so most people, the hardest thing to do is to prove truth. You don't know how to prove truth. This is why you keep losing. Once you learn how to prove truth, as I did, by risking it all, as they say, by understanding the lower self has had its time. It's time for bigger and greater things. So this is what the higher self is for. This is what people call God. Your God is your higher self. And this has been the secret closed by those secret societies. See, but the secret ain't secret. It's that your higher self is sacred.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And with your higher self being sacred, this is your key to entering heaven. When he says your Father is in heaven, he's saying he's in the higher self. The only way you're going to get to heaven is through the higher self, not through any other means. And we got to make that clear, because we have heard many scriptural teachings, many sermons that have said otherwise, but they are wrong. And only one man can admit he is wrong. And that's what I have not seen. When you admit you are wrong, this is when truth can come to you. Truth came to me because I said this text is not right. I don't care if it's the Bible. If you read it from cover to cover, I don't care if it's the Quran. If you read it from cover to cover, ain't no book finna predetermine myself.
Right on.
We have to understand what books are for.
Yeah.
What was the purpose of books? Because people swearing in on books, that wasn't the purpose of books.
See, that's it. Right here. It's all in this way.
See, this game's been played, as the great wisdom told, as the great Moorish wisdom of many books, there is no end. So we got to get back to the instructions, but that's an emphasis we want to settle into.
There is no multiplicity with unity. With the obliteration of multiplicity, the concept of accessions becomes nullified. He who knows this will know. He who does not will deny it. And all I can think about that right there, how they done set a trap over here in USA for our people, and then draw up these old Magna Carta laws and Robert Rule of Order, and then set up them what they call a Department of Justice. And now they can run everything in a department of CIA and a department of FBI, and all this supposed to be law enforcement. And now they can run it just like they want it. And when you told me today over 1 million laws, now that's one law too many. Over 1 million laws, that ain't nothing but to control people. And then have the audacity to give another man a badge and a gun to harm and kill others. Now, this is what's going on. I don't care who like it or not. This is reality. This the reality being created for us, and they want us to live on it. And I'm not going to do it just like my son said. I'm not part of this. I ain't going to be part of it. This is an historic and secret knowledge only given to those who know Allah. When they explain this knowledge to others, only those who are arrogant towards Allah will deny. And may I stop a moment and just ask a question and move on? Who don't like Allah in USA? You won't hear that word. And when they hear Allah Akbar, they think of somebody finna get hurt. Based on everything we have shared so far, it is evidence that the only existence is Allah. There is no other being beside Allah. The proposal. And to whom? Allah. The nature of this reality is such that it is like the sun, whose heat does not spare even a drop of water. In the icy composition of existential reality. Isn't that some powerful talking right there? They better be glad the sun's shining and we use the heat from it. Boy, you were freeze to death. How about that? We don't know what's important and what's not. And we don't know what to be great. Teaching of Muhammad, peace be upon him, in relation to the future of mankind. For as much as oneness is a reality, the consequences man will face in the future as a result of his own doing is also an indispensable reality. The consequences your own doing, consequences of your own doing, they got more guns in America than they got people. that goes to show you where they mind at. And they wonder why so many people get killed. Look at all the guns you got. Remember the consequences of your own doing. Indeed, we are all forms of knowledge. In the knowledge of the one denoted by the name Allah, all capital letters. According to us, we are just simple creatures living in a simple universe. But in reality, we are just forms of knowledge in his knowledge. Ain't that beautiful? However, since the world is in our perception is a definite, absolute, and multifaceted dimension, we cannot overlook the exquisite value about which we have been informed. know, when you look at man and you're trying to describe him, if you look at his head, that's a word. If you look at his feet, that's a word. If you look at his arm, that's a word. You look at his hand, that's a word. You look at his face, that's a word. It's all knowledge.
See,
huh?
That's what men been killed from.
Masculine, masculine, that's a word. Effeminate, that's a word. Male, that's a word. Female, that's a word.
Mm-hmm. And without education, you won't never know none of this. Just look at our people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. For me, myself, I've been speaking it for a while. So it's just like, you don't teach no one. That's why I'm not here to teach anyone. I'm here to share. That's just it. Just share. I had to teach myself. I don't have time to teach others. To teach others is not teaching others. See, we have to share knowledge so people can have it for themselves. Allah's the teacher, my teacher. So when I'm talking about anything, everything belongs to him. I own nothing. Allah owns everything. In English, all law. This is why we have to understand, because I was tricked. But you still currently are tricked because you done nothing about it. I had to look the other way when it come to money. I was making money. I had to stop making money in order to get to this knowledge. You can't serve two masters, as it truly says. I know that because I had to stop. And so I don't have what people have when it comes to finances. But I have what people don't have when it comes to knowledge. Because I use my will to will myself to knowledge. Now, we have to understand, if you never look at what knowledge of self is, then you don't know what self is. Your goal is to find out what yourself is, not mine. I had to find me. You better find you. The people are confused because they have not wisdom. Wisdom would never leave you astray. Wisdom is a word that is seldomly used in the Black community. See, and the word knowledge and wisdom is synonyms. Synonyms. You are made in wisdom, but you don't respect knowledge. So how could you know that you made in the form of wisdom? And see, this is why you get sick, because you don't have the knowledge of healing.
That's right. Right on. Glad you pointed that out.
All law
Come on with it.
is never sick. How can someone with perfect knowledge get sick?
That's right.
We're talking wisdom here. Sure, I don't think our people really think they can be wise. I think you have dumbed yourself down, that you have even deceived yourself. I found out it ain't no one tricked me. I deceived myself. Self-deception. This don't belong to no one else. I deceived myself just through believing. This is why you must know what you believe in. If you choose to go along with something just because somebody said, that's not their fault. The old Southern cliche, first time, shame on. Oh. So when we talking about who goal is it, ignorance is no excuse. I've seen our people, we don't want to learn, we don't want to study, we don't want to read. I have bought more books to change black people's minds than they own homeboy, girlfriend, mother, father. It wouldn't matter because I had to go and get this. This is something that was not around, and this is what everybody needs around them. If not, you're going to find yourself in the London Bridge that's falling. Because you didn't respect knowledge. You think self is something else. I got a big sign that says K.O.S. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. This got to do with self and self-knowledge. It's not his fault, it's self-fault. It's not his will, it's self-will. What I'm saying is not his knowledge, this is self-knowledge. I'm going to the grave with this, not him, not them. I'm making sure I go to the grave with this. This is no shame and no game. When you become pure, you're not looking to afford the perspective of others. The perspective of others have gotten me in places I wishing I wasn't never to begin with, to begin in. And you think the same person that put you in is the same person going to take you out? You think the same person that told you the first lie is the same person going to bring you back the truth? This is why it ain't no more secret. If you just can't handle the truth, you can't handle the truth. Negro, you're not black, and you're not African. You don't have Mutombo as your last name, Bobo, Mutombo. You don't carry these names. You be real with yourself. Your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your great-grandmother, all the way back, don't have an African last name. But since you are afraid of yourself and you want to give your glory to something called Europeans when your ancestors are the Europeans. Yeah. True. And now you sit here calling yourself black. You calling yourself deaf. You calling yourself something that presidential candidates are looking to feed off of. You are nothing but a feeding mechanism. Yes. Oh. They come to you when they need to feed off you. Yes, election time. And you ain't tired of it yet. Our broke seniors still talking about voting for this person. Yeah. Same you one. Can't even give your granddaughter $5,000 to access her future, to access her knowledge and her being. And you trying to get a job at 68 years old. This is what we got to understand. When do you come to the higher self? It ain't hanging it up, y'all. See, the lower self, the society wants you to hang up your higher self, especially as you get into a senior age. They don't want you to know your higher self exists. They want you to rot and die. And y'all gonna let them do it when Allah gave you this ability to pursue your wisdom. And you letting people tell you what you are and what you not. You came from the heavens before you came to earth, and you gonna let earth change and alter your whole being to fit in down here when you ain't everlasting down here. Older people, you got a responsibility to younger people. Younger people need to see strength, virility, not oldness and sterility. We don't need blindness of knowledge. We need y'all speaking at the peak of your divinity, of what you know this life to be, because we got to live off what you left. And if you didn't leave nothing, don't expect nothing. Because nothing don't bring something. Existence was created out of nothing, and nothing turns to nothing. Your higher self is the true physical you. And you let money, job, environment, perspective from others determine your soul divinity and what level of heaven you go to. You didn't even know none of these people before you got here. And now you have surrendered to these people since you got here.
Yeah.
You are a shape of a star. Wake up. You are from heaven. Ain't no other creature the shape of heaven, which is a star. And this is why we have to understand what the Moorish star was for, to wake our asses up. You ain't dead unless you believe you are. You not dying unless you believe you are. What you believe becomes your knowledge. This is very important. You're not going to get this off no bookshelf. This comes from real life experience and taking notes while it's happening. What you believe in this very moment is the knowledge in this very moment of yourself. If we don't believe that the Creator created a way of life, and you see this vast universe, and you see the greatest thing in this universe, maybe let me pull it up so you read his words. The greatest light is the sun and the moon. Yes.
Look at all this light.
And you're going to follow a man's mind. You better sit down somewhere. Thus, the perfect carnation of all are. Perfect. This is what the people need to understand. This is how simple the Creator has made this reality for us to understand the mysteries of this world. The sun is the perfect coordination of Allah in a manner which even the simplest of mind may comprehend. The sun is perfect, y'all. The sun represents your higher self.
Ooh, time to really move it on up.
So don't live in the shadows of your lower self when you know the sun is the higher self. So anything illuminating is from the light of that higher self. And this is what we got to bring home as we come into our next instruction. It's so perfectly on time.
A way of life. I guess our beautiful sister take that.
Mm-hmm. Would you love? It's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
You know the way.
Yes, sir. A way of life.
Mm-hmm.
A way.
A way.
Second name of the law.
Mm-hmm. That's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
The system in which we are living dictates the reality that there is no God who administers everything from within. There is no deity, God. No star or planet or galaxy or constellation of stars, a star sign, can be God. To even ponder such a thing is a huge misconception. We are here in this dimension to fulfill our servitude by executing the meaning of the names of the law which manifest through us. The system in which we live compromises the solar system, the earth inside the solar system, and humans who live on the earth.
Look.
Allah has created and adored these humans with his own attributes and designed the brain to be the place of manifestation for his qualities.
Whee! Do you have a brain? Do anybody have a brain?
One who assumes only a bodily existence and resumes his life with this conditioning will have to pay the consequence of this lifestyle with infinite agony and suffering. One who trusts the locus of the knowledge of Allah, who informs him of his higher value, and who strives to discover and manifest these inequalities, will unite with divine attributes and qualities, and attain a state of existence in which infinite beauty is clear. On one hand, we have an indefinite state of suffering resulting from a lifestyle based on the mistaken assumption that man is compromised with flesh and bones, mind and body. On the other hand, we have an infinite state of serenity and pleasure resulting from the manifesting the divine qualities and attributes within. This is why Muhammad said, "You have been created as Allah's vicegerent on earth. You have been endowed with the meaning of all of Allah's names. Just because you are now in this material dimension of existence, do not assume that you are composed of only this physical body. That will deteriorate one day. Do not oppress yourself. By thinking yourself. Do not squander your potential. Do not waste your infinite supreme qualities for the real world and worldly things that you will have to leave behind.
And the people, before you go any further, and the people are doing just that. Going after all this stuff. Go ahead, sister.
Let us look at how the following verses are warning us. Know that the life of this world is but amusement and diversion and adornment and boasting to one another and competition and increase of growth and truth. Quran 57:20. And those men will be in a state to call another friend when they are shown to each other, the guilty ones who want to offer their sons as ransom to the fire to be saved from the punishment of that day. And his wife and his brother and his nearest kindred who shelter him and everything on earth so that it can save him. No, indeed, it is the last smokeless flame. Quran 7:20-15. People are asleep with death they will awaken. Indeed, the life of this world is going to seem like only a dream in the next abode. They let us die before dying so that we can awaken from this world dream while still here. Let us see the reality and shape our lives according to this reality. Let us not waste our energy over things that are not going to have any value in the next dimension. Things that we are going to leave behind. Let us not feel remorse for squandering things that we will not be able to recompense. Confining our existence to this body and resuming a life driven by bodily desires will result in nothing but loss and disappointment. When we make the transition to the next dimension, we will say, if only we could go back and do the things we didn't do, but this will never be possible. In relation to this, the Quran says, and that day, the period, hell will be brought to a close to earth. That day, man will remember and think, but what good to him will be the remembrance? This will be when he no longer has a body, brain, with which he can develop himself. Question. He will say, I wish I had done beneficial things for this life. Quran 89, 23, 24. Indeed, we have warned you of a mere punishment, death. On that day, man will observe what his hands have put forth, and those who do not the knowledge of reality will say, oh, how I wish I was this. Quran 78 and 40. Adorn yourself with the attributes of Allah. Abandon your own sense of self, I-ness, and become adorned with His meaning. Rid your consciousness from your illusory self, so that you may attain the true self.
Beautiful.
If you can truly erase your constructed self, who you have assumed into existence because of certain beliefs and conditions, with true knowledge, such that you become free of the veil of self-will, I-ness, the true self will reveal itself. Parallel to Muhammad's 5 warnings, many acclaimed saints have also said, remove yourself to see yourself. Actually, the meaning of this expression is the same as that of the hadith. He who knows himself will know his pride. The reality of the name comprises his essence. Let's remember the system in which we live and how we are connected to it. Everything we see and know in this material world is subject to the gravitational and magnetic pull of the earth. Since humans came into existence on the earth, they too are bound by this magnetic pull. We have created every living thing from woman, Divine, 21 and 30. Hence, humans too are created from woman. Now, if human beings come into existence on the earth and are subject to earth's gravitation, then the holographic wave body produced by the brain, commonly known as the spirit, must also be subject to the pull of gravity. On the other hand, there is a quality in the human brain which, when activated, the person can become unconstrained by the magnetic field of both the earth and the sun. As such, he can attain a heavenly state of existence in the dimensional depth of an infinite number of stars in space, about in the form that is appropriate to this new dimension. If one's anti-gravity wave producing circuit has been activated in his brain, he will return and illuminate layers and radicalize, which he is going to be able to do salvation much more swiftly. If on the other hand, his brain is not able to produce anti-gravity waves and upload it to his spirit, lack of nerve, light of knowledge, he will neither be able to escape the magnetic field on the earth, nor hell, becoming a prison inside the sun forever. As eventually the sun will engulf the 5 planets in its near orbit, including Mars, then shrink and become a neutron star. Hence, everything inside is going to become trapped. I have covered this topic in detail in the mystery of man, for those who may be interested. As for the creatures, demons, many in hell, i.e. the sun, that is, the creatures that distress, humiliate, and torture their captives, just like there are people living on earth, and there are the jinn who live on earth or in space. Every planet has its own inhabitants. Thus, the sun is also inhabited by its own being-like planets, described in the Quran as the demons of hell, divine. Humans are as the strongest tenants of the earth. We treat the weaker creatures as we like. In the same light, the tenants of the sun will treat humans, the weaker creatures, however they like. This will be like torture for humans. The spirit or the holographic wave body will become destroyed, sharpened, and burnt when consumed by the sun due to extreme levels of radiation, but it will not cease to exist. This is similar to our bodies being hurt and injured in our veins by continuing to function regardless. As such, our wave bodies in the solar hell are going to be demolished, squashed, elongated, stretched, flattened, destroyed, burnt, then restored to their original state. And this will go on indefinitely. This is confirmed by the verse, so that they may test the punishment more every time their skins are burnt. Due to their external attachment, we will replace them with new skins. Externality. Wrong, or the important point to understand here is that the sun will be held in respect of the subatomic structure. Just like we have a biological material, supraatomic structure as our body, we simultaneously produce its subatomic twin body in the form of wave energy. The sun also has a subatomic twin dimension comprised of radio energy. It is this dimension that we refer to as hell. Due to this, we are unable to perceive hell with our current perceptive abilities, just like we are unable to see the subatomic radio spirits. And those who have made the transition from the physical body life to the spirit wave body life are not only able to see other spirits, but also the genius and the angels within that dimension. In fact, they will see the beings in the sun as though they are right there next to them. For the concept of space does not apply to spirit beings. The references about the deceased watching hell from their graves pertains to this reality. Again, all of this has been covered in detail in the mystery of man. Indeed, the heavens contained within the stars we call the Milky Way are also in respect of their wave twins compromising their subatomic dimension. However, just like our current plane of existence feels like a material dimension to us, based on our physical body's perspective abilities, the next dimension is also going to feel like a physical place, even though it is a wave dimension according to our perception right now. As for the holographic wave body spirits that make it to the countless planets and space compromising the heavens, they are going to have the opportunity to interact with other spirits and take part in all kinds of activities with their enhanced skills and potential. For lack of better words, they will be like the gods of the planets on which they live, for they will be alive by on earth, equipped and adorned with countless divine potentials, whereas the tenants of those planets lack such abilities. Thus, those who go to heaven will experience things that no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no tongue has spoken. Whatever we say pertaining to this topic will always be inadequate. Those who go to heaven will be ageless. Relations such as parents, sister, brother, daughter, son will be obsolete. Everyone there is the same age. Those at the same level of power are those who were able to acquire less knowledge and energy will decide in their own environment. Maybe someone very close to you in this world is going to be very far from you in the next. Regardless of what you lived the day before, oblivious of what you dreamed of the night before. When you wake up in the morning, especially after a few hours, what do they mean to you? Do they hold any validity? Yesterday is yesterday. The night before is now past. If you were in a prison cell being tortured and you fell asleep to see the most beautiful dream, what would your dream mean to you in your awakening environment? When you close your eyes to this material world and open your eyes to the next, what would this worldly life mean to you other than just a dream? Indeed, we are going to feel like we have just woken up from a deep sleep, and this worldly life and everything witnessed here is going to mean nothing. We are going to be stuck with the conditions of that environment instead. Then our biggest concern should be not for those things we will leave behind, but for those things that we will need in the life after death. What we plant into our spirits in the field of this world is what we reap. What we plant into our spirits in the field of this world is what we will reap in the life after death. If in this worldly life we fail to recognize and use the divine qualities and potential with which we have endowed after tasting death, we will have lost this chance forever. There are many verses in the Quran confirming this. When death comes to one of them, he says, "My Ra, send me back to worldly life so that I might do righteousness and that which I left behind, i.e., a faithful life, which I did not heed or give importance, the potential that I did not utilize and activate." No, it is impossible to go back. His words are invalid. His request is unrecognized in the system, and behind them is a barrier. And a different of dimension until the day they are resurrected. They cannot go back. Reincarnation, being reborn for another worldly life is not possible. Quran 23:99. If you could but see when they are made to stand before the fire and will say, if only we could go back to life on earth and not deny the sons of our lives. I am truthful, the power qualities and potential deriving from the names that compromise our essential reality, and we among the believers. But that which we fulfilled before, the knowledge of reality with that which had been endowed has now become apparent to them. And even if they will return, they will return to the things from which they have been forbidden. They are not in forbidden. And they say there is none but our worldly life, and we will not be resurrected. If you could but see when they will be made to stand before their lives, when they recognize and become aware of their potentials of the names within their own reality, he would say, "Is this not the reality?" They will say, "Yes, it is our life." He will then say, "So take the punishment now as the consequence of denying the knowledge of reality." Quran 6:27 and 30. But what is the reality of this anyway?
And see, there's a way of life.
Sure. Way beyond this here. We think that the only life is this life.
It is. I guess that's what people are thinking.
Yeah.
That's why I say you need to read.
Remember they say when the deed is done, that's it, it's over. That's what a lot of people think.
It's something on this planet called wisdom.
Right.
When I'm saying read wisdom. And wisdom holds everything you need. Until you can have self-knowledge, you need to continue. And that's why I bring forth these wisdom texts in order for it to pierce through at some point and penetrate your being. It's a lot of minutes in a day. It's only 2 hours. You still got 22 after this.
Mm.
So within that volume of time, me myself, I'm always getting higher and more advanced. So people have their choice what they want to do within those higher times.
Yeah.
And so the reality is that you're gonna die. Now the reality is, how are you gonna die? Are you gonna die knowing the knowledge of self, living it, or are you gonna choose to ignore the knowledge of self and die in that consequence? So death is a reward to show you what work you put in. And so the reality of death is the reality of self. You're going to find out what self is, as death is the ultimate truth. There's no truth higher than death, y'all. I hope y'all know that. That's one thing that is so concurrent and so you can experience it at any moment.
Yeah.
But you the idiot if you not susceptible that people die because they do not know the knowledge of death. And it's been written in our instructions, and that's why these have to be brought forth. Because our people haven't had these instructions. They don't even know how to be buried. They don't know how to live. So they definitely don't know how to die. And so if this ain't a teaching that's commonly known, then you don't know. And I'm the one to tell you, so you got time. And while you got time, this is the time to ask your questions, get on your study, read so you can ask better questions. Because all these realms you got to understand. Let me pull up the Moorish Holy Quran before we get out of here. 5 more minutes, and we're going to be out of here. But it's something that you must learn, is that your soul became a body. And that you as the body, you're going to have to cross boundary planes to understand who and what you truly is. You have a fleshly nature that came from a cardinal nature. You have a soul nature that come from the plane of soul. So if you haven't not tapped into these other parts of yourself, meaning that you keep visiting the same thoughts that you have every day. Yeah. You're not having new thoughts. Yeah. You're not saying new words. Yeah. You're revisiting. You are the only thing new done. Become new. Stop doing the same old stuff. We have to understand that man in his state is the Lord of all the planes. The plane of flesh, the plane of soul. So if you don't understand these things, then this is what you should do to understand these things, is read wisdom until you comprehend. You shouldn't put down the Bible until you comprehend the Bible. If that's your book you want to learn, you should not put it down. I have read things so many times. I have read the same book more times than Bruce Lee has kicked one kick. So if you ain't, because I learned from the best. They say it's better to kick one kick 1,000 times than to do different kicks 1,000 different times. Meaning, I practice to be so sharp in knowledge of self that I wouldn't care of being dull in no other place. Because this is everlasting life. What most people perspectives are is temporary. The things that's not gonna the soul leave this plane. So you are a soul, as I am, then you will know that the physical world is only for you to grow and develop soul. What other you mean to get? That's what you came down here to do. So when we talking about the highest development, not the flesh. I'm sorry, athletes. Conditioning your body is not the greatest thing you can do. I've been an athlete myself. That's not the trophy. That's so we have to understand is the championship. You develop a soul by having character all the way throughout adversity, struggle, defamation, and anything like. And so we're going to get ready to be able to close, and we're going to open up on chapter 22 on Friday. So I hope y'all enjoy, as I enjoy, the knowledge of Allah. We close in the name of the divine creator, Al-Sufian. Love and peace.